Hi folks, good morning. It's Rob Lemmy here. I'm going to do a set of little videos like this one. Excuse me, I put down my coffee. On the subject of being Scottish, because that's what I am, you may have noticed. Now, I grew up in a wee town on the east coast of Scotland called Arbroath. It's kind of a little bit north of Dundee, kind of a little bit south of Aberdeen. It's very cold in winter, but it's a lovely place, you know, it's home, it's got that sort of thing. And I grew up in the 60s, early 70s. The world was a kind of different place then. And I want to tell you a few stories about what it was like to grow up in a place like that. You know, when I was a kid, I guess, 14, 15, 16, that sort of thing, I started to get this idea that you should be chasing women, girls. So what you would do is, because you couldn't go to bars, you're only allowed to go into bars when you're 18, you see. But in Arbroath there was this place called the Ballroom. It was an absolutely huge place. Great big building. It used to be a factory of some kind, and then they turned it into a ballroom, you see. So right on the beach. Of which more later. But anyway, this is where you would go, and it was open on a Wednesday, a Friday and a Saturday. And nobody went on the Wednesdays. Well, maybe the adults went on the Wednesdays. I don't know, but we didn't. We went on the Friday and the Saturday, especially the Saturday. You were supposed to be 18 to get into the Marine, but they kind of went, we don't give a fuck. So everybody went, as long as you kind of walked in like this, and there would always be a queue, you see. There'd be a big queue from the door and the big bouncers, at the front, and you'd be sort of, I'm trying to look really adult, you're 14, dressed in a suit. Trying to look adult, because they bloody knew what was going on, but they wanted the money, they wanted the door money, So you'd go in. Now, once you were in and you paid your money, there was a set of steps, because the actual ballroom was upstairs. There's proper ballroom, You don't have proper ballrooms anymore. And it was a big, long place, It was maybe 4 times as long as it was wide. And at the entrance, you had the steps going in, and then you had a stage. And then right at the other end, you had a bar and a stage. And what they would do is they'd have live bands, and they would alternate. This band would do a set 40 minutes, and then they would stop, and then the other slot would start, and they would do, I don't know, whatever, 3 sets each every night, and the rest of the time, because, there weren't really discotheques then. There was maybe a guy playing some music, but it wasn't really a disco, They didn't have like 2 turntables, or anything sophisticated like that, You're going back in time here. So, how did one make the required connection with persons of the opposite sex? Well, what would happen is, the guys, all dressed, well, I was always a suit guy, and I'm wearing a leather jacket today because it's Saturday, but since I was a kid, I like to wear suits, and kilts occasionally, but suits mainly, when I go out, this is the way I dress up, So you get guys like me who are the suit guys, And then you'd get the guys who were, this is the era of people like the Bay City Rollers. We'll tell you more about this later. And they would be wearing, white jeans, pure white. I'm actually wearing a pair of white jeans today. It's a different era, So we get all this, and the guys would walk around the outside of the dance floor. See, proper dance floors, I know they don't do this in discos anymore, but proper dance floors are actually sprung. Because if you get all the people, hey-hoo, all at the same time, they can knock the building down. They'll all walk down. And it's happened. So proper dance floors are actually sprung, so they're separated from the rest of the building. And there's a kind of walkway around the outside. So, maybe a couple of metres wide, 6 foot wide, 8 foot, something like that. So you'd be walking along with your mates, You haven't smoked. You're not supposed to smoke till you're 15, but 16, you're supposed to be 16, they haven't smoked, And in the middle of all this space, on the dance floor itself, would be the girls, you see. And what they would do is, they would take, in groups of 2 or 3 or 4, never more than that, they would put their handbags down, you see. They put the handbags down on the floor, and then they start to dance around the handbag. Watching the guys, while the guys are walking around, smoking a cigarette. No, she's not married. So, what would happen is, if a young lady, and the girls were really young here, talking about everybody in the place was under 20, you know. Smoking away. She's quite nice, you know. Fancy that. So what you'd do is you'd go up to her, you'd step out of the herd of moving animals walking around the outside, and you'd go on the dance floor itself, you see, and you'd approach the target of your sexual desire for evening, and you'd go up to her and you'd say this, and she's doing like this, you know. And you go, are you dancing? She's doing like this, you know. Are you dancing? So, she now has a choice. Obviously, this line gives you a perfect intro for a whole bunch of crushing put-downs like, "Aye, come back when you're 16," or "Have you got a driving licence yet? Are you sure you're old enough to drink that pint?" You know, there's a whole bunch of them. But if she liked you, if she thought, he's quite nice, okay, I like the cut of your jib, Stella, she would say, "Aye, I'm dancing. Are you asking?" Are you asking? Which meant you were going to get a dance with her. Now, this was a problem because immediately all the other guys that are cruising around, you see, the outside, realise that this lassie is actually prepared to dance with the guys. And she's just not, it's not just giving everybody back what we used to call the KB, the knockback. So immediately, you're basically fighting off all these other guys who come in and say, "You know, are you dancing? Yeah, fuck in here first, you bastard." So, that is how the evening would progress. There were actually very few fights or trouble in the Marine, but outside the ballroom, it was regular that there'd be some scraps, you know, because it was kind of a violent time. There were a lot of gangs in Scotland in those days. They seem to have gone away, which is a bloody good thing, I have to tell you. But there were quite a lot at that time. But inside there were an awful lot of bouncers, and I guess by today's standards they weren't really very intimidating, but you know, they were big guys. And if you're 16, you get a big 30-year-old guy who's been in the bloody Royal Marines or something like that, well, he scares the shit out of you know, and so you behave yourself, you know. So inside there we would behave. But remember I said that a lot of the guys would wear white jeans. You mind that? I said that, didn't I? And I said it was on the beach. This Marine ballroom place was on the beach. Well, little known fact. That part of Scotland has got what's called a raised beach, and that's because up until about 20,000 years ago there was a great big pile of ice on top of it. It was basically an ice cube, hundreds of feet thick, and the ice actually pushed Scotland down into the magma underneath, you know, and so when the ice all melted, it started to come up again, right? And of course, so what happened, what was the beach when the ice was there, suddenly, you know, it's 100 yards up the shore, and you've got this big long flat area between the real beach today and this slope, which was the beach 20,000 years ago. There you are. See, that's your geography lesson. You'll always learn something with me. Always. Anywho, the white jeans. You see, it was not unknown for a lad to get lucky. And for the lassie who'd been, "Aye, okay, I'm dancing, are you asking?" And you know, a little bit, you know, cup of feel round the bum, and then a little bit of a peck. And out the door, you see, you'd tweak her out the door, and you used to stamp your hand. I think people still do this sort of shit. Stamp your hand. So off you'd go, you know, you've got her by the hand. Fucking wearing high heels and miniskirt, of course, you know, because they think of the era we're talking about. So where are you going to go to consummate this passion that was, you were hoping, going to be consummated? Well, there's no bloody hotels in Arbroath. You couldn't take her home to your mummies. I mean, come on. And you definitely could not take her home back to her mummies. So where were you going to go? Well, the obvious answer is you'd go up the raised beach, up to this slope. You see, because it was quite long grass, because it was steep. So the council guys who used to keep the whole area nice and trim and neat, they couldn't really do that very often, so it tended to be quite long, so it was quite sheltered. It was quite well hidden, and there was no street lights up there. And what light there was coming at an angle, so once you were in the grass, you were kind of invisible, right? So this is what you do. You get up in the grass, you know, continue the Copperfield, get the knickers down round her ankles, and off you go. This is great fun. This is what life's all about, you know. And then once you'd reached the moment of your There was no condoms then. Nobody had bloody AIDS. You know, that came 20 years later. Well, 15. Anyway, after you'd consummated this, you know, you'd get your pants back up, and she would get her knickers, you know, pull them back up, get her, pull her, tuck her dress down, and off you'd go. Tick, 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 tick. Back down to the marine. She would look at your, the bouncers would look at your hand, oh, you got to start, and they'd be laughing like this, we know what he's been doing, you know. But, you see, the thing is, if you had the white jeans on, you were immediately the target for huge amounts of ribaldry from all the other guys. It's easy for her, you see, she didn't going to get away with this, she'd be lying on her bum, naked. Because you had white jeans on, and you just shagged this lassie on the grass, right? So when you went back, your knees were green, and you were obvious, and the rest of the night they'd be going, oh, I know what you've been doing. Actually, very rarely did you ever meet the girl again. It was something that just, you know, ships that pass in the night. And like I said, it was an era then, you know, that was the early 70s. HIV didn't appear, in the UK anyway, until the early 80s. And really nobody gave a monkeys, you know. It was just, I'll pull out, you know, I'll pull out. I mean, it was irresponsible, I know, but there wasn't any education on this in any case. And to be honest with you, the lassies, I mean, if you pulled out a condom, they'd go, who's that thing? Needless to say, we did have quite a number of unmarried mums in the community. But we will talk about that another day. Anyway, if you like it, if you like what I'm doing here, you know, just let me go and get this. I've written a couple of books about being, you know, growing up in Scotland, being in Scotland, being Scottish. And this one's called Poaching the River, and this one's called The Spring Run. And I'll put the links to them in the box there. Please buy them, you'll laugh a hell of a lot. They both got tremendous reviews, everybody thinks they're hellish funny. You might not, you might be an American that doesn't have a sense of humour, I mean, fuck's sake, I don't know. But you might be a feminist. Holy shit. And you know, with that you can just tell. Good fucking guy. Anyway, we're going to be nice because this is not a political issue, this is just a funny one. So there you are, that's the books going by, and I'll do more of these because growing up in Scotland was definitely great fun. You know, it was, I have to tell you. And those of us who remember it, in those halcyon days before HIV and before all the other bloody stupid things we have to put up with now, remember it with great fondness, and trust me, great fondness. Do you know, I'll tell you a wee thing just before I go. Billy Connolly, I actually shared a stage with Billy Connolly once, but that's another story. He wrote a book. I mean, I don't think Billy actually wrote it, I think he had somebody from the Daily Record ghost it for him, you know. He wrote this book, and part of the book is about how he got his end away, how he got laid in the Western Cemetery of all bloody places, in Arbroath. And suddenly Arbroath was, oh, Billy Connolly shagged a lassie in the Western Cemetery. Wow, Arbroath's on the map at last. So thank you, Billy. I hope you're doing well. I heard you weren't very well recently, so I hope it's all better. Take care of yourself, and all of you, take care of yourselves too. I'll be back soon. I'm not sure I'll be back with what. More humour, more politics, more annoying lesbians, more annoying feminists. I don't know yet. We'll get there. We'll get around to it. Take care of yourselves. Have fun. If you can't be good, by the way, always be enthusiastic. Make it a rule for life. Take care. Bye.